Hello, my name is Howell, and I'm a photographic artist who has worked with cyanotype as one of my main materials for nearly 14 years. Cyanotype has many amazing attributes and is an easy process to gain results from. You can be as skilled or as unskilled as you like. It's a very forgiving medium. Easy step by step instructions for starting your cyanotype photography journey. Let's look at the history of the process. Cyanotype process, also known as the blueprint process or sunprint, was invented by Sir John Herschel, who lived in 1792 and died in 1871. He invented cyanotype in 1842, and it was made famous by his young neighbour, Anna Atkins, who was then called Anna Children. And she used cyanotype photography in conjunction with her father to create the very first photographically illustrated science book. Step 1. Get your equipment ready. As with all art forms, 90% of the work is in the preparation. Prepare well, and the work will go smoothly. So, you are going to need the following. Your first port of call is to get the chemistry. Cyanotype process is really easy, it's accessible, and it's fairly non-toxic. In some circumstances, it may cause skin and eye irritations. So, wear gloves if you have sensitive skin and maybe keep some eye wash on hand just in case. I usually use Jacquard's chemistry as it comes in blackout plastic bottles and it's really easy to mix. The more confident you become, then you may want to invest in some stock crystals rather than purchasing the bottles each time. However, I save the blackout bottles to use with other cyanotype formulations. So, for example, when I'm printing cyanotype onto glass, I will often create the sensitized cyanotype gelatin and store it in the blackout bottles. Pretty easy. Open your chemicals, and there are instructions on the back if you need them. You're going to need access to cold water. The colder the water, the better. Can't stress that enough. If you want vibrant blues, you need to pay attention to your temperatures. So the colder water, the better. A neutral pH or slightly acidic is best for cyanotypes. A sponge brush or paintbrush, but I prefer a sponge as I think it gives a more even coverage. A water tray, which is definitely best to have a dedicated water tray. This will save you ruining your bathroom or kitchen sink when washing your prints. This could be a kitty litter tray if you don't have a photography tray, but I would make sure that it's a new one. You don't want to be stinking up your prints. Step 2. If you're beginning with cyanotype crystals, then I would suggest mixing up enough of each solution 24 hours prior to printing. So mix the crystals with water, but keep both solution A and solution B mixed up in separate containers and store them in a cool, dry place. It's really, really easy though. You don't have to panic. Once the cyanotype chemistry is open, fill it with extremely cold water, almost to the top, just leaving a little bit of wriggle room so that when you shake it up, we have enough room for all of the molecules to bind to the water. You might want to use distilled water if you're worried about the pH or lime content in your own water. For these purposes and for all of my stuff, I just use the tap water, but it does depend upon where you live. Once you've done that part, I suggest that you should put it in a cool, dry place and let it sit for 24 hours. Because we're working with a chemistry that is a solution created out of crystals, what you want to do is give the chance for those crystals to completely dissolve and adhere to the water. After your 24 hours wait, you are ready to print. Taking your clean small container, you want to pour in approximately the same amount of each solution into the tub. So this is called a 1-to-1 ratio. If you're putting in approximately 10 ml of part A, then you need to put in approximately 10 ml of part B. 10 ml doesn't sound like a lot, but actually cyanotype goes a very long way. So less is more, essentially. So in a clean container, mix solution A and solution B together. This will sensitize the solution and make it react to light. Only use what you need at the time. A small mixture at a ratio of 1-to-1 should be enough to prep several pieces of paper or a couple of pieces of fabric. Fabric being slightly more porous. Step 3. Use a sponge brush to thinly apply your solution to the surface of your paper or fabric. Cyanotype is a photographic chemical. It does not work like a pigment or dye. So you just need to get that out of your head straight away, basically, okay? It's a totally different way of working. So thin application is usually best as you are working on a molecular level. Step 4. Put your prepared paper away in a cool, dark place. Once you've applied both solutions to the paper or fabric, you can let them dry and you can store them in a dark cupboard for up to 2 weeks. If I'm teaching, I tend to prepare my paper or fabric the night before. Step 5. Prepare for exposure. Take your cyanotype paper and arrange your objects or acetate negatives on top of the yellow side. If you are using the sun, then you will need to weigh down your arrangement using the plane of glass. If objects are too 3D, you might not need the glass at all. But have it on standby if you are doing cyanotype from acetate negatives, as you will need the glass to ensure that you have a good and even contact between the negative and the sensitized cyanotype material. Step 6. Expose your image. In my opinion, it's better to overexpose a cyanotype, so leave it in the sun or under a lamp for too long, than to underexpose it. The thinking behind this is because you can always wash your print for longer to bring out information that was lost to overexposure, but you can't add the information back in if it wasn't exposed enough in the first place. Cyanotype is made from a base of iron oxide, which is rust, and it will show slightly orange rust colours once the cyanotype solution has reached its full exposure. This can happen really fast on a good summer's day. Step 7. Wash your exposed cyanotype in super cold water. Cyanotype sets beautifully with very cold water. This shocks the blues and fixes them. If you don't wash for long enough, then your blues won't develop properly. And the paper could still be sensitive to light and therefore continue to go dark. Better to wash for slightly too long than for too little. Because you are not just removing the excess solution, you are activating and fixing the chemical reaction. Step 8. Peg up your print to dry. Just letting your print air dry is the best way. Don't get overexcited and use a hairdryer. The heat will affect the print. Just be patient and let it dry slowly. Step 9. Wait a few days. As the print dries fully, it will reach its true blue. This can be affected in the future by too much exposure to UV, not enough air circulation in the frames, or because of damp. But if your cyanotype is displayed in an area that doesn't get too much direct sunlight on it, it should last forever. The cyanotypes that Anna Atkins produced in 1858 are still as beautiful blue today as they were the day she made them. Step 10. Show everybody your amazing art. You might have so much fun making your art that you forget to show everybody. Don't worry, use hashtags like hashtag Cyanotype or hashtag alternative process photography, or lastly hashtag Cyanomasters to reach other like-minded artists and to get inspiration. Remember, continue to support me on Patreon. More lessons coming soon. It's going to get a little bit more complicated from here, so this is your base lesson to get you started. If you want more, join me on my Patreon. You can also have access to backup documents, behind the scenes photos, process images, loads of extra stuff basically, and you'll be helping a disabled artist.